I definitely believe in making timeless art. I want to make songs that I can look back 20 years from now and be proud of, music and visuals that I can look back and say, I'm proud of that work. I stand behind my work. Well, my name is Rudy Currence. I am a Grammy and Dove Award winning producer, Grammy nominated songwriter, two-time #1 Billboard recording artist. I'm from Rock Hill, South Carolina. That's just outside Charlotte, North Carolina. I am a PK. That means preacher's kid. So I grew up playing and singing in church and started taking piano lessons at 6. I started singing at 3. My mom actually became my manager at an early age, and she would take my brother and I around to different musical local events, and then that progressed to singing the national anthem at the professional basketball games in Charlotte, and then in the athletic games in Charlotte, and different things like that, and then to the Apollo in New York. So we've done a lot prior to my recording career, and that all led to me signing as a recording artist and then growing and rooming in the recording studios. It definitely it is a God-given gift, which I'm so grateful for. But it also is in the DNA. My family, my dad's side specifically, is very musically inclined. So he plays and sings. And so I credit him with being my first piano teacher, because even before I was officially in piano lessons, like I would watch him and sit on his lap and try to play. And then I could pick out melodies that I would hear. So they knew I had some type of musical ability, and I sang my first solo at 3 in at Kitty College, which was like the little preschool that they had me in, and I sang Deck the Halls. And so my parents didn't even know I could sing, the teachers had put me up and I had a solo, and so they were so proud. So again, they just continued to nurture that. I played trumpet in middle school, high school, and then also for a while in college, and I majored in music actually at Furman University, where I studied classical piano and voice. So it's extensive background, but I'm grateful that I had all that training, because it pours into and helps to it helped to develop me into the artist that I am now. Well, one, I feel like I'm still learning. I feel like it's always good to be a student and never feel like you've fully mastered your craft. There's always something to learn. The music industry is constantly shifting and changing. And during the course of my career, I've seen so many different changes. Now, everybody's kind of moving over to a distribution model. Independent artists are starting to really surface. And I remember a time where being independent artist was, not taboo, but it was just kind of like you were an outsider a little bit. And so I think just through social media and different marketing tools, promotional tools, even everybody's smartphone now has become their TV and their radio. They're able to stream on sites like TREBEL, and listen to all of their favorite artists there. So I'm still a student, still learning, but I would say that maybe teenage years is when I just realized that this is kind of what I wanted to do with my life. I just kept developing. For example, I was always an artsy kid, so I used to draw, which is why visually, when you see my artwork and when you see my music videos, I'm very hands-on. I'm not an artist that, somebody styles me and sets me up in a scene and just go, I'm very much the creative direction and visionary behind all of it. So I was that artsy kid that would draw, and that's how I got into writing songs. I wrote poetry, and then poetry became songs. So, but I would say probably middle school, high school is where I started to realize that this is what I wanted to do with my life. I definitely believe in making timeless art. I want to make songs that I can look back 20 years from now and be proud of, music and visuals that I can look back and say, I'm proud of that work. I stand behind my work. I'm grateful again for my parents, because they nurtured my gift at such an early age. My brother as well. He's a producer. So growing up, I was on the keys, he was on the drums playing in church. So we were a little duo, and we sang together too. So I credit them with seeing a gift in me at an early age, and then just being exposed to different things. My parents were music lovers, so they loved, the greats like Michael Jackson and Prince, even Motown. So a lot of soulful music was played in our home. And then, I also love folk and singer-songwriters like, John Mayer, but even, before him, James Taylor, and just a lot of great music like that. And then, of course, when I went to Furman and I was singing classical music, so Italian arias and art songs and German lieder, all this international music and, operatic stuff that, really predate some of the music that I'm doing now by centuries. And so just, it blew my mind to hear a lot of that stuff. And so I think as an artist, I was just a sponge. I was always, again, a student, taking it all in. And so I feel like my music in a way is like musical gumbo, is very eclectic, but also, again, timeless, something that people can appreciate for years to come. They are similar, but they can be very different. For me, I'm very organic. I'm that guy, that artist that will create something, and it just be pieces, but I'm very conceptual, and I think about the theme of the album or the EP. I think about, storytelling, all of those things in my music. And so a lot of times when I put together a collection of songs, even before I start recording them, I already have a ton of voice memos and, lyrics written down somewhere, melodies. Sometimes songs come to me, in different ways. So it may be lyric ideas or song ideas lyrically, or it may be, melodies, or because I'm a musician as well, it may be chords that I play or play on the guitar or keys. But when I'm writing for other artists or producing for other artists, I try to put myself in, the situation when, back in the day when people used to write for me, and I felt like, if they didn't get me or they didn't see me. So I try to make sure that I give them material that is authentic and true to who they are artistically, and that's complementary to that. So I think it's important as a writer and a producer, just like a stylist. I've worked with different stylists, over time, and some people come in with their aesthetic and they try to put that on you, and, either, you're wearing the clothes or the clothes are wearing you, right? And I think the same thing musically. Sometimes people, producers and writers that have a hit formula, feel like they can just plug and play and put that onto an artist, and it doesn't always work because that artist may not be true to who they are. And so if I'm working with a co-write or working with an artist, my goal is to, make sure that I give them a sound that's true to them. Now, if it's just writing demos, anything goes, and it may be that the label decides that, hey, we really love this record and we got an artist that we think that it would fit perfectly for. But again, for myself as an artist, singer, songwriter, I'm that guy that's just constantly creating. That's hard. I would say the top 3 would be, first, taking my family to the Grammys. I wrote for Lecrae and produced on his album. It was featured on the Gravity album, and that afforded me an opportunity. Of course, the album won a Grammy and a Dove, so that was amazing. But again, I mentioned before how much my family's poured into me as a person and as an artist, and to have the opportunity to give back to them, and us, all of us, attend the Grammys together in LA, walk the carpet. My mom walked the red carpet with me. That was amazing. Similar moment this year, I was Stellar nominated, and so my family went to Vegas, and this time my niece walked the carpet with me, and so it's like me paying it forward to her. And she actually singing on my last album, Sang Glass Windows. She sang the end of One of These Days, is track 3, I believe, on the album. And so we're grooming her the same way my parents, saw a gift in me and my brother. And then another highlight, I would say, was working with Quincy Jones. He is the guy that produced Michael Jackson, so you can already imagine how, iconic that was for me, a little kid that looked up to Michael Jackson, and then I get to work with the producer of Michael Jackson. That was amazing. And I remember specifically being on the set. We shot a video in LA, and they flew us out, and so on set, he asked me to sing for him, and I sang a song, a cappella, and he looked at everybody, then looked at me, he's like, this kid is special. And all I'm thinking is like, this is the guy that produced Michael Jackson, and he's saying that I was, so that really meant a lot to me. So that was that top, that's 2 or 3, either way, those are some of the highlights that I really, I would say, have just been amazing, and I'm grateful for. I am so proud of this song. It feels like paying homage to some of my earlier work, but also very fresh and new, and also very like on trend and timely. And one thing about me, again, I like to be like I like to be timeless. So it wasn't necessarily my goal to be on trend. I like to set trends and not follow them, but I'm grateful that the song and the message is coming out during a time where cancel culture is so prevalent. The song to me really is about balance for people that have some type of moral compass and faith. Again, because I was raised, singing gospel music and singing about the good news, it means a lot to me that I can kind of connect the dots. I think this song is a bridge between secular, sacred, and that's always been my goal as an artist, to remind people that we have more in common than the things that separate us. Even internally and personally, if people can have that reminder and that mindset, as long as I stay connected to my faith, as long as I stay true to who I am, I'm going to be all right. And that's really what the song is all about. As long as God don't cancel me, I'm all right. It's a lot of people that can cause you to, second guess yourself, or that can cause you to, that can cause your self-esteem and your self-worth to suffer. And just going through therapy and remembering, some of the coping techniques that my therapist has taught me, holding boundaries and self-care. But yeah, so just holding boundaries is really important for me to remember that as long as I stay true to myself, to the purpose over my life that I believe God has for me to do in the earth, I'm going to be okay. And you will too. Definitely more music on Treble. You can look for more music from me. I'm constantly writing. And one of my goals, I think I had a little bit of a hiatus for a while. And so over the last 4 or 5 years, I've really been intentional about just continuing to release work. And I released an album last year. So in the meantime, you guys can go back through my catalog, listen to the new, the relatively new music, and even the old music on Treble. I'm so excited about this new single. We just went to radio with the song. It's already being received well by programmers. I had a programmer reach out yesterday and she's like, "Oh my God, I really love this new song." My fans sounding off saying, "I think this is one of my faves already." So I'm really excited about that. I'm also excited about planning to tour, hopefully the end of the year as well as into 2025. So be on the lookout, follow me on my socials, and I'll definitely keep everybody abreast of what's going on with Rudy Currence. Well, I just want to take a moment to say thank you to all my fans, all my listeners on Treble. Thank you guys over at Treble for supporting me, even on the editorial playlist, showing me love. It really means the world. Again, if you don't know my name, I'm Rudy Currence. You can follow me on all my socials. It's at Rudy Currence. That's at RUDYCURRENCE. Make sure you add my new song, God Don't Cancel Me, and all my music on Treble. Check it out. We have a new music video that's about to drop, and I'm so excited. I can't wait for you guys to see the visuals. Make sure you sign up for my email list on my website on rudycurrence.com. And then, stay tuned. Just a lot of amazing music coming down the pipeline. So I'm excited.